Hi there. In this video, we'll be covering ideas for writing a book. You could write a book about anything, but why not write about the things that you know best? Stay tuned to find out how to choose your best book topic. By the end of this video, you will learn how to tap into your experiences, your interests, and your biggest successes and failures in figuring out what you want to write your book about. And stay tuned until the end of the video for an opportunity I really think you're going to enjoy. Let's dive in. You could literally write a book about any topic in the world, but it's important to choose a topic that resonates for you, a topic that is going to keep you interested for months, if not years to come, but a topic that you know something about. If you put a book out about a topic you don't really know much about, it's not going to resonate. Why are people going to have a reason to want to read it if you're not an expert yourself, if you don't have some knowledge or insight that can help them? So when thinking about a book topic, let's focus first on interests. What are your interests? What are the things that drive you? What are the things that motivate you? The more interested you are in the topic, the more engaged you're going to be with the book. And also the more cognizant you're going to be of what it takes to be successful in that space. You know, you're going to read a lot of other books. You're going to see what's already out there, how your book stands apart. So your interests are really important because the things that are motivating you to want to write the book are the same things that are motivating other people to want to read the book when it's finally published. Focusing on the things that really drive you and, interest you, it's a great way to figure out a book topic. These are the things that you would do for free, that you would write and focus on because you're interested in that topic. You're engaged to this, you're connected to this no matter what. And it's really special when you can find a book topic like that taps into your interests. Your experiences are also important, the good and the bad. I think a lot of times when people think about writing a book about experiences, they think about being the hero of the story and winning at the end and, getting the gold medal. That's not what this is about. That's not the focus here. The focus here is to tell a story that resonates. Your experiences, your struggles, the things that you went through, the things that you had to overcome are going to resonate with your reader because they're going to see themselves in the ups and downs that you face yourself. They're going to see their story in your story. So this isn't just about you. Obviously, there's a journey forward, and the book should end on some upswing if it can. Your experiences are so important because the people who want to read this book, your ideal reader is somebody who's experienced similar things. Maybe not the same way you did, but maybe they're intrigued to see how you handled something, how you overcame or rose above something, or even the things that you struggled with, because it can help them navigate past this tough channel. They want to be able to see themselves and to be inspired by the message and the story that is in your book. And those experiences are so crucial, and not to sugarcoat them. I look at some of the most successful books that I've worked on, and they succeeded because of vulnerability. The author went there. The author explained the story to the nth degree. They explained their fears and their insecurities and doubts and missteps. You don't want to write a story that's just about how you succeeded. People want to know how you got there. But it's not just about the success at the end. It's the journey to get there. People want to know about the journey. So what's your journey? Your journey can be very valuable to your readers as long as you're honest about it, as long as you're open about it, and talk to them about the struggles you faced as well as the successes. It's that balance that's going to drive them and motivate them. But your experiences, your lived experiences, are stories that you learned and lived and breathed and understand back and right. And those stories can be very valuable. When you go to a party and you're introduced to somebody new, maybe a friend or a colleague introduces you, what are the things that you're identified as? Maybe it's your career, maybe it's an accomplishment. What are you best known for? I would look at those things as potential for book material, potential for a book topic. It's great when you can be known for something, whether it's a famous thing or not a famous thing. When you're connected to something, when you did something. And I think a lot of times when we think about our life story, we think about, writing a book, it's got to have a message and a point and a clear focus. It can't just be, this is my life from beginning to end. It's got to have a clear focus. And thinking about the things that you're best known for, the things that you're introduced by, when you're introduced to a new audience, those things can be really meaningful in thinking about the focus for the book. No matter what, your book should have some focus. Whether that's a prescriptive business memoir, whether that's a self-growth book, there should be some measure of organization and structure and flow and focus within the book. So it's not just a grab bag of stuff thrown together. It's very strategic. It's very smart. That's the way that somebody's going to learn from your book. You don't want it to feel like a loose collection of essays, but you want it to feel like a book, a story from beginning to end. There's a structure to it. It makes sense. The way it's organized is very simple and basic. That's what you want, but ultimately it's so special when you can think about the things you're best known for and the things that you're identified with, and think about how that represents a book. How could you tell that story in book form? There could be a powerful story there. And it's so special and important to be able to think in terms of focus and narrowing your story to make sure that you cut out the things from the book that don't actually benefit the reader. This is about the reader benefit in the end. As much as we tell our stories for ourselves, the stories in the end are for other people. So keep the reader in mind as you're thinking about what to include and not include in the book. No matter what topic you pick for the focus of your book, I want to reiterate a point again. This is something that's going to stick with you, that's going to be connected to you for a long time. Think about the projects that didn't succeed, projects that maybe you started in the past, maybe even this book. The reason it didn't succeed could be in part because you picked a topic that didn't have sustained momentum from you, that you didn't want to keep working on, that it became too much of a chore or a hassle. You want to pick a topic where this doesn't feel like a chore inside, even if it is a chore. It doesn't feel like a chore. It's work, but it doesn't feel like work. In order to succeed, you need to find a topic that you want to work on, that you keep coming back to, because otherwise it's tough to envision the effort and the stress and the struggle being worth it. You really need to pick something you want to stick with, a topic that matters and resonates, and give it your best. And if you can do that, good things are going to happen. If you want to learn more about ideas for writing a book, there's another video, another episode I recorded that I think you'll really enjoy. I'll link to it on the screen. It's called Steps to Writing a Book, and in that video I focus on gathering material and getting started with the writing process. It's so important to be able to connect the dots on that and to carry forward from this idea to being able to actually finish your draft. So if you're interested in learning more about the writing process, definitely check out that video. Remember, a good book can change your life. I'm Dan Good. Thanks for watching.